This video is part of the series on how to set up an event in the BCG Event Manager. After you have created the event itself, the next step is to add hotels. To add hotels to the event, make sure that you have selected the proper event by clicking the event button at the top right of the screen. In my case, I have chosen the Austin event that I created in the prior video. Then click on Configure and click on Hotels, and you will arrive at the hotel management screen. For each hotel that you wish to be part of the event, you should click on the checkbox that says Part of Austin Event, or of course your own event name. If a hotel does not exist yet for your event, you can click on Add New Hotel. In my case, I will add the Westin Lone Star and click Make New Hotel. The new hotel that you have added will be put at the top of the list, and you will be notified that it has been. Once it's there, you can see that it has automatically been checked so that it's part of your event. You can see that it has a priority. Hotel priority describes which hotel will be used first, second, third, and so forth when visitors and attendees are placed in hotels and when meetings are placed in hotels. Higher priority means that that hotel will be chosen before other hotels. And you can see that right now this hotel, which I just created, has 0 meeting rooms. That's what we're going to change. So I will click on Edit for the Westin Lone Star that I just created. I need to first go in and change the city for the Westin Lone Star. In this case, it's Austin, Texas. And I need to also make sure that it's in the correct country. This is important so that the time zones align correctly. Once I've done that, I click on Add Meeting Room to add my first meeting room. Now, one thing to know is it's best to go into this screen and add all of your meeting rooms first before doing things to the meeting rooms, like setting their capacity or associating them with what meal areas the people who use that meeting room are likely to eat at, and I'll cover that more later. So for now, I'm simply going to click Add Meeting Room. This new room is going to be called the Oak Room. This is a room for meeting. It is not a room for meals, so I will not click the Is this a meal area checkbox. The level that this meeting room is on is going to be level 1. This is just for reference. The level shows up in reports that you generate, but it does not have any meaning in the context of the Event Manager application. Also, each morning I would like the room set up a certain way. In this case, the default is a U shape with tables and chairs, but I could choose banquet rounds or the boardroom or a buffet or a circle of chairs and so forth. In this case, I'm going to just choose hollow square. That's what I want for this meeting room. And you can also force all meetings in that room to use a certain setup. For example, if the only real option for the Oak Room is to use the hollow square setup, then click this checkbox. Next, you can associate the meeting room with a certain floor or meal area. I'm not going to do that yet because I haven't created any meal areas, but when I do, I'll come back here and show you how to get that done. That's all for this room. You can also at the bottom of this dialog box see the history of activity. That is all the changes that have ever been made by this room, and it will show you when the change was made, who made the change, and what the change was. Alright, so I've got my meeting room called the Oak Room set up now, and I'm going to click on Create. So there's the Oak Room. You can ignore the meeting room floor for now. And the daily setup, the default setup at the beginning of the day will be Hollow Square. Now on the right hand side here you can see all of the capacities. RND stands for banquet rounds, and I can hover it to find out exactly what it stands for. BR stands for boardroom, BU for buffet, CC for circle of chairs, and so forth. And you can see that the capacity for Hollow Square over here under HS is 0. That's why there's this little yellow triangle right next to it. What that means is Hollow Square, which is the default setup for this room, can't handle any people yet. You haven't told it how to do that. So we'll be setting up a little bit later all of the meeting room capacities. I'm going to make a couple more rooms quickly, and then we'll get on to making a meal area. So in addition to the Oak Room, I'll make the Maple Room. It will also be on level 1. It will start with a U shape. All meetings in that room do not need to use that setup. And again, I won't associate it with the meeting room floor yet. And then I will make the Linden Room. It's also on level 1. All right, I have a couple of rooms set up now. One of the things that the event manager does is it allows you to associate meal areas with rooms. That is, to make some assumptions that people who have been attending meetings in rooms near a certain meal area are likely to use that meal area, and this helps with capacity planning. So I'm going to add one more meeting room, which I will call Meal Area 1. It will also be on level 1, although it does not need to be on the same level as the other rooms. And I will check the "Is this a meal area?" checkbox. That's going to change its coloration. You can see that Meal Area 1 turned purple. And when you're looking at meetings on the grid, which is described in a separate video, you will see that those meal areas also are highlighted in purple. Now I'm going to go back to the Linden, Maple, and Oak rooms and say that they are associated with that particular meeting room, the Meal Area 1. Oh yes, there's one thing you must do before you go through that step. After you've entered all the meeting rooms, but before you've made those associations, you have to click on Save. You may get some errors like this that say, for example, certain rooms don't have their default setup allowing at least one participant. That's all right. Go ahead and save anyway. Now the Westin Lone Star has a change. You can see the city, Austin, is highlighted in orange. This is a common pattern in the application whenever a change has been made. Now that I've made my save with my baseline group of rooms, I'm going to click Edit. And when I come back in, I'm going to visit the Linden Room first, and I'm going to associate it with the meeting room floor, Meal Area 1, and save. Likewise with the Maple Room, also being associated with Meal Area 1. Meal Area 1 itself, of course, if there happened to be a meeting in there for some reason, it would associate with itself. And finally, the Oak Room, the exact same thing, Meal Area 1, and I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to save one more time so that all this makes it into the database. And then we will come in and import all of the capacities for all of the different room setups in one easy step. Now, and we will also describe how to do that manually if you need to. That will be the next video. Thank you for watching this.